When you read the Ramayana, kingdoms like Ayodhya and Mithila are described as pinnacles of human civilization, defined by their grand architecture and orderly streets. Kishkindha is entirely different. The text describes it as rugged, wild, and naturally fortified by dense forests and cave networks. According to the epic, this harsh terrain was home to the Vanaras. Look at this traditional painting. It depicts these forest-dwelling warriors fighting alongside humans. Because the Vanaras possess supernatural traits in the text, historians assumed Kishkindha was purely a symbolic kingdom, a literary invention rather than a real place. But today, an enormous number of people disagree. A strong modern tradition claims this lost civilization existed, hidden deep within southern India's topography. Their focus points directly to a harsh, rocky expanse in the state of Karnataka, a place known today as Hampi. Finding the truth here is incredibly difficult. Extracting historical fact from a narrative written thousands of years ago requires strict physical proof, and placing a mythological kingdom in the real world is one of the highest hurdles in archaeology. To test this claim, researchers approach the verses of the Ramayana almost like a surveyor's map. They take the specific geographical markers detailed in the ancient text and lay them directly over the modern landscape of Hampi. The text dictates a kingdom protected by an impenetrable natural fortress of rock. This photograph shows the terrain surrounding Hampi. Massive granite boulders stack hundreds of feet high, creating hidden valleys matching the epic's description. The verses also describe sacred waterways running along the borders of the kingdom. Here we see the Tungabhadra River weaving straight through Hampi's ancient stone pillars. For millennia, this exact waterway has supported settlements right on its banks. Then we have specific landmarks. This is Anjanadri Hill. Unbroken local tradition identifies this high vantage point, with its steep stone steps looking out over the valley, as the birthplace of Hanuman. Just a short distance away sits a peak identified as Rishyamuka mountain. In the Ramayana, this is the exact spot where Sugriva sought refuge, and where Hanuman first crossed paths with Rama and Lakshmana. And the text points to a sacred body of water called Pampa Sarovar, tied to Rama's journey. This is the modern Pampa Sarovar pond near Hampi. Notice the local pilgrims sitting by the water, actively maintaining the site's ancient religious practices. When you stack these locations together, the topography lines up. The specific mountains, the rivers, and the valleys described in the epic map directly onto the physical reality of Hampi. But a striking visual match is not enough for the scientific community. To declare a site historical, modern archaeology demands physical artifacts. Look at the scale of these stone foundations scattered across Hampi. They stretch across the valley floor. Yet among these excavated blocks, researchers have found no definitive evidence linking any specific structure to King Sugriva or the Vanaras. The same problem applies to the surviving architecture. This image highlights the site's ornate temple structures. Masterpieces of engineering, they remain silent on the Kishkindha connection. Not a single ancient inscription explicitly reads, "This was the kingdom of the Ramayana." We are left with a contradiction. The physical landscape reflects the story of the epic, while the archaeological record refuses to confirm the details. This is the central tension of the investigation. The geography aligns with the ancient verses, yet the physical record provides no confirmation. So if we cannot pull a golden artifact with Sugriva's name on it out of the dirt, does that mean Hampi's connection to Kishkindha is false? Answering that requires us to reconsider how human history is actually preserved. Written records and carved stone are not the only ways ancient civilizations kept their past alive. This illustrates an alternative mechanism, oral tradition. While monuments decay over centuries, stories act as an unbroken wave. For millennia, the people of southern India acted as living archives, anchoring the epic to these specific hills and rivers. You can see that tradition in motion today. In this temple courtyard at Hampi, crowds of living people continue the practices of their ancestors. This uninterrupted chain of cultural memory spanning millennia serves as its own distinct form of historical evidence. Ancient borders shifted and names evolved as empires rose and fell. Because of this, searching for one static, permanent location in the soil may be the wrong way to investigate a landscape of myth. What we do know is that Hampi operates as a unique bridge between physical reality and ancient literature. It is currently the most compelling geographical candidate we have for the Vanara kingdom. We may never find the definitive scientific proof to close the case, but when you stand among the massive, ancient boulders of Hampi, it is clear that the cultural echoes of Kishkindha are alive and well.